Some places make no sense until you look at the map the right way. In this collection, each story reveals how terrain, hidden water, and human routes reshape what a place can become. The Delta River does not stop at the mountains. On the map, it slices straight through the range instead of turning away from the barrier. Normally, a rising ridge redirects water toward lower ground. Here, the channel crosses the high terrain, creating a map contradiction in one narrow valley. Geographers call this an antecedent river, meaning the water likely kept its path while the surrounding land rose around it. The river came first. As uplift and erosion worked together over long spans, the channel stayed open. The cut deepened into a gorge through the mountain range. That cross-cutting valley can preserve evidence of both uplift and erosion in the same place. Water keeps moving between high slopes inside the gorge. In one Italian mountain village, winter snow could hide streets and doorways so completely that the route to church became a passage cut through snow. That place was Castelluccio di Norcia in Italy, a high settlement where elevation shapes winter access before anyone even steps outside. When snowfall built up enough, residents dug tunnels through it, turning the snowpack into a temporary route across the village. Those passages were not a novelty path. They were used to reach the church when ordinary movement through the village no longer worked. So in Castelluccio, winter could redraw daily space itself, leaving residents to move between buried walls of snow toward the village church. A major Auckland station carries the name Te Wehorotiu, even though the water it names is nowhere in sight. From the street, you see pavement, traffic, and buildings. The place is Auckland, New Zealand, on Queen Street, one of the city's main corridors. It feels fully urban, with road space and dense blocks filling the view. The name comes from Te Wehorotiu, a stream. The stream is covered now, but it still flows beneath Queen Street under the road above. That creates the twist: the city changed the surface, not the water's presence. Modern infrastructure sits overhead while the buried watercourse keeps moving below. So the station name works like a map folded into the city. Above, people head for trains; below the pavement, water continues along Queen Street. Some roads are not spread across land at all. At Mã Pí Lèng Pass, one stretch had to be cut straight into a cliff. This is a mountain pass, a route forced through high ground. Travel gets squeezed into steep slopes and narrow ledges instead of open plains. Here, finishing the road meant prolonged cutting directly into rock. That cliff work alone took nearly 2 years before the route was complete. The terrain set the terms. Instead of an easy line across open ground, the pass offered a wall of stone and very little room. So the road people use through Mã Pí Lèng is also a record of the mountain's shape. It still reads like a narrow line etched into the cliff face. A fortress usually announces itself, but Pinani Castle can be nearby and still vanish from most local views. That sounds backward for a castle on high ground. The place is Pinani Castle, and the approved claim is simple: from most nearby locations, you do not see it clearly. A close viewpoint does not guarantee an open sightline. The payoff is terrain. The castle was described as masterfully integrated into the natural landscape, so ridge, rock, and slope absorb its outline instead of displaying it. That means visibility changes with angle. One ridge can screen the walls, and natural cover can break the shape until the structure stops reading as a separate building. So the nearby landscape keeps playing hide-and-seek with the eye. From the right spot, stone appears, then melts back into rock and hillside. Deep in this cave route, the feature people remember is not a rock chamber. It is a place where the water is clear enough for visitors to drink. The setting is the Cavinti Underground River and Caves Complex, where the route runs through a cave environment shaped by moving water. Along that route, a naturally formed water spot is locally presented as a fountain of youth. The memorable part is simple: it is a named stop you can drink from. That changes the experience underground. Instead of only looking at stone and water, visitors reach the point where the cave offers a drink. In a dark river passage, that small act becomes the landmark people carry out with them. The cave narrows, the water gleams, and a hand reaches toward the spring. In Denver, one building gets compared to a kitchen tool. People look at Populus and say its facade resembles a cheese grater. That matters because city landmarks are not always the tallest shapes on the skyline. Sometimes people remember a place by the skin of a building. Here, the memorable part is not hidden inside the plan. It is the exterior pattern itself, the repeated surface that triggers the cheese grater comparison. Once a comparison sticks, recognition gets faster. In the city view, that textured surface gives people an easy way to pick out Populus Denver. So the landmark lives in texture as much as outline. Across the Denver skyline, the eye catches that patterned facade before it settles on the building. Venezuela showed up at the 2026 Winter Olympics with exactly one competitor. On the map, its entire winter team suddenly ran through snowy Quebec. That skier was Nicolas Louis Claveau-Laviolette. He is a Venezuelan and Canadian cross-country skier from Quebec, framed by tracks, trees, and long winter distance. The twist is national representation, not training location. In 2026, Claveau-Laviolette raced in cross-country skiing for Venezuela, even though Quebec is where the snow sits. So a tropical country's Winter Olympics footprint narrowed to one person on one course. Climate expectations stayed south, while its athlete pushed through northern snow. The result was simple and striking at human scale. Venezuela's winter presence rested on one skier from Quebec, moving alone between pole marks at the Olympics. If one of these places changed how you picture the map, let us know in the comments. Subscribe for more factual stories where geography changes the outcome.